millions of tons of rock above your head. It's a scary feeling at first, but it's exciting at the same time. You know, to be able to see that miner lay feet on a place where no man has ever gone before. You know, best people you ever meet, man, just hard-working men. It's an experience. It truly is. All these vacant buildings, you know, before I was born, there was something in them. It's like this used to be an old furniture store. That used to be a barber shop. You know, all these buildings used to be something, but it's slowly trended down, I guess you could say. Growing up, if you was willing to work and you was willing to put in the time, you know, you can have a job in the mines. I was about 17 years old, and you start thinking about those things. You know, what am I going to do when I get a little older? And I had no idea, and I just prayed about it. I really didn't have no desire to go to college. I wanted to make money, you know. I want to be able to have a nice truck. I want to be able to do things. And I just figured I want to be a coal miner. It was good enough for my dad. It was good enough for me. My dad is a 30-year coal miner. He wanted me to do the exact opposite, but I followed in his footsteps. It's kind of the deal, you know. One day he held his hand out like this right here, and he said, "Son, what do you see in my hand?" I said, "Dad, I don't see nothing." He said, "That's what you're going to have if you don't get an education." And I never forgot that. I had several good buddies that I graduated with, and many of them went in the mines. Some people moved away, some decided to choose the path of least resistance, and they got on drugs. Majority of the people, they went in the mines. Some of them are still working.
Coal has always gone through boom and bust cycles. Looking at the situation today, what you have is lower coal prices elsewhere, higher cost to extract the coal here, natural gas prices, and then to some extent the regulations that that are put there for safety of the miners and the community. Though that gets played up more as it's the war on coal. There's not a whole lot of people working in the mines anymore.
This was his hard hat that he wore many years underground as a section foreman. That was his last mining light, and spent a lot of hours wearing each. That was his last pair of work boots, last thermos. This was my hard hat. This is the one that I wore. It's tired out now, but it still fits good. That was my dad's. My dad had got sick. He got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I talked to him that night, and he'd already had a surgery. I thought he was going to pull through it. In my mind, he was going to pull through it. My dad could beat pancreatic cancer. The next morning, I was getting up, 6 o'clock, the phone rang, and it was my mom said, "When you get to the hospital, your dad, he's taking a turn for the worst." But during that time, he was on his deathbed. I promised him I would go back to college, one way or another, I'll get an education. My dad was absolutely the strongest man that I ever knew. I mean, he was 63 when he died, but I'm telling you, the man was tough as nails. You know, some people's had it a whole lot rougher than me, and some people, has had it a whole lot easier than I have. I lost my dad. My biggest fear came true. And then right around the same time, I lost my job.
As coal declined, it's led to a lot of problems. About 1/3 of the population was the poverty line. You have a lot of people here on disability because of the work injuries that they had. They tough it out to work in the mines until they got laid off, and now they go to disability. There aren't a lot of opportunities here, although many would want to stay if they could. It's just challenging.
This is just a cover letter. I'm excited to see a conservation job come available here in Harlan County. I'm writing you a letter seeking for the opportunity to be a recruit in your next academy class of the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources. My working experience comes from the coal industry. Everybody got laid off. They went out west, worked at mines out there. It wasn't where they wanted to be, but once you get that mining in your blood, it's really hard to break away from that. Some people, that's all they know. It's all that I knew until I went to college. When I got laid off, I had no intentions of going back. The displaced coal miner training program. If you're a miner, if you worked in Kentucky for a year, they would pay to get you educated, to get you into another field so you wouldn't be out of work. If there's any money that hasn't went to waste, it's been that money right there. There's nothing more than I'd love to see than the coal industry pick up better than it ever has been. Well, I don't know if they'll ever get that point again. Maybe with our new political leaders, Governor Matt Bevin and Donald Trump, they're making a difference. I was the first person in my family to attend college. Graduated in May. I wasn't really worried about chasing a dollar. I've been there, done that. A lot of people think home is where money is. No, home is where family's at. People I go to church with, they're my family. It's a small little town, but as of right now, it's kind of slow. Going forward, I hope better things happen. You look at these mountains, think, well, there's not a whole lot to offer. But when you've grown up here, and it's kind of what you're accustomed to, there's a lot to offer.